Strength and honor.
Strength and honor.
Strength and honor.
At my signal, unleash hell.
What up, y'all? It's Devin with Up TV, aka the Dot Connector, and in today's video, I'm gonna take the time to decode Childish Gambino's new music video. Now, there have been so many different mainstream sources that have done their own decoding on this music video. They've done their own breakdowns.
Childish Gambino released a powerful music video over the weekend. It's already gotten more than 50 million views on YouTube, the 4-minute piece. And here with me now to discuss this, Dr. Tanisha Ford. She's an associate professor.
And personally, I feel like the only reason why they even did that was to basically drown out people like me, the Vision Christian, Alex Jones, conspiracy theorists in general, a call for uprising, all these different people who are putting out the real truth. They don't want the real truth out there, but we're gonna give it to y'all today here on Up TV, because that's what we do, and I like to connect the dots for people who need the dots connected. Now, for those of you who haven't seen the music video, there are some pretty graphic fictional scenes inside of this music video that I must warn you about before I move forward with this video. Okay, so you have your warning now. If you don't like graphic content, I suggest you stop watching now. So if a picture is worth 1,000 words, then a 1-minute video has to be worth 1,000,000 words. So a 5-minute video has to be worth at least 5 million words. So a lot of different symbols that we see inside of this music video actually have double meanings. And I'm gonna get to that right now with the first major thing that you should have noticed when you've seen this video, which is the one-eye symbolism. Now, this one-eye symbolism actually has a double meaning. It means the one eye, the man eye. It means the all-seeing eye. And we shouldn't be surprised at all that this music video has one-eye symbolism in it. You see it in almost every music video. You see it in almost every movie. You see it in almost every form of media. You see it in logos. Celebrities do it all the time. You can't miss it. It's like the symbol for the Antichrist. Okay, it is the symbol of the Antichrist system. Okay, so let's just keep it real on that level. But what Childish Gambino has done is he has actually flipped the meaning of this by the facial expression he made, and I think he knew that it would connect with black audiences, especially those of us who have seen the TV show The Boondocks by Aaron Magruder. This facial expression that he's making is actually the face of Uncle Ruckus. And for those of you who don't know who Uncle Ruckus is a black man who doesn't like black people. He's somebody that you would consider as an Uncle Tom, in other words. And I think that was the whole point of Childish Gambino doing this, besides putting out that one-eye symbolism, the man eye, the all-seeing eye symbolism, is to show you that this is the obedient Childish Gambino. This is the slave. This is the man who is willing to do anything for his masters, especially if it benefits him in the long run. And that's what Uncle Tom is. You know, you look at the definition of Uncle Tom, it says a black man considered to be excessively obedient or servile. So look, the proof is in the pudding. And we've seen this happen over and over and over again. And Childish Gambino has shown his loyalty to his Illuminati masters when he showed up at the 2018 Met Gala. Now, the Met Gala this year, the theme was Heavenly Bodies. And every year when they have a Met Gala, they have a brand new theme. This year just happened to be Heavenly Bodies. And people are supposed to show up to the Met Gala dressed up as something that reflects the theme of the art show. And Childish Gambino showed up in a suit, rocking the Illuminati pyramid with the all-seeing eye in it. he showed up rocking the one eye, the Mon Eye. And he's also seen in a photograph throwing up the 666 hand sign. Now, the first thing the sheep will say is this hand sign is the OK sign, not the 666 sign. But what y'all don't understand is what I explained at the beginning of this video is everything has a double meaning. Okay, there is a double meaning to that hand sign. It's not just the OK sign. That's what they want you to think. Oh yeah, it's just okay. No, that's not what it is. They are pledging allegiance to their master, Lucifer. Understand that. So Uncle Ruckus, Childish Gambino, is only showing y'all that he is an Illuminati puppet, and he's willing to do whatever his master says. That's how they serve their master. You know, when their master gets sick, they say, oh boss, we sick. You know, that's how attached to their masters they are. Now, am I calling Childish Gambino and Uncle Tom? No, that's not what I'm doing, but he's definitely playing that role in this music video. And the reason why he's playing that role is because he is a puppet, okay? He may not have the qualities of an Uncle Tom person, the personality, but he is a puppet for his Illuminati masters. And that is the message of this one little symbol right here, just this one thing. We ain't even broke fully into the full video yet, but we about to move forward right now, and it's about to get real graphic. So just giving y'all another warning, because this next scene is very symbolic and relates to what I'm saying right now. Now, if you observe at the beginning of the video, there's a man sitting in a chair playing the guitar. This man's name is Calvin C. Winbush II. A lot of people thought this man looked eerily similar to Trayvon Martin's dad, which he does, which is really very symbolic in itself. But this man sitting in the chair actually symbolizes the beginning of black music, black culture in America, and how we rose up to where we are now in hip hop. And you see that when Donald Glover begins to dance in the music video, and then he works his way to the man sitting in the chair. And then by the time he gets to the man sitting in the chair, he actually is now tied up and his face is covered, and Donald Glover blows his head off with a gun. Now, this actually represents the killing of hip hop, the end of hip hop, and its transition into what we have now, what it is now, which is controlled music by the Illuminati, which is controlled music by the elite. And the takeover of hip hop happened way back like in '96, when they had the East Coast versus West Coast thing going on, Biggie versus Tupac, Death Row versus Bad Boy. And what we have today is now music being controlled by the Illuminati, and hip hop was the last genre of music to be fully taken over. And so that's what we have. That's what we see now. And that's what Donald Glover is showing us now, that this is America, a place where we accept controlled music, controlled thought, controlled programming.
An interesting new allegation has just surfaced of somebody that claims to have been at a secret meeting back in 1991, where they say that essentially the Illuminati sort of commissioned the hip-hop industry to promote gangster rap and just these, garbage thug images as a way to try to influence and encourage crime to benefit the private prison industry, right?
As we take a deeper look, we have even more evidence that suggests that this man in the chair represents the capture and killing of hip-hop, and that Childish Gambino is a willing servant of his Illuminati masters sent to assassinate hip-hop as we know it today. When he assassinates hip-hop, or the man in the chair, his pose was reminiscent of a man named Thomas D. Rice. Rice was an American performer and playwright who performed blackface and used African-American vernacular speech, song, and dance to become one of the most popular minstrel show entertainers of his time. He is considered the father of minstrelsy. His acts drew on aspects of African American culture and popularized them with a national and later international audience. Rice's Jim Crow's persona was an ethnic depiction in accordance with contemporary Caucasian ideals of African Americans and their culture.
Let's talk a little bit about the origin of the word Jim Crow before we go into kind of the concept of de jure and de facto segregation. Jump Jim Crow was an old song and dance routine that originated in 1828, which was written by a white comedian by the name of T.D. Daddy Rice, who would perform in blackface, basically to make fun of slaves.
Wheel about and turn about and do just so. Every time I wheel about, I jump Jim Crow.
The term Jim itself is short for Jimmy, like I'm going to Jimmy a lock, and that was a crowbar. So a crowbar in the 1800s was sometimes called a Jim or a Jimmy. And then, of course, crow itself was used as a term for blacks as early as the 1700s. In terms of jump Jim Crow, farmers used to feed their crows corn-soaked whiskey. Then the crows would get drunk and kind of dance around, not being able to fly as the farmers, kind of beat the crows to death. So there's multiple meanings behind the term Jim Crow. They all refer in a negative connotation to slaves and to freedmen, to blacks.
See, back in the day, minstrelsy was a dance that distracted white Americans from the pain and horrors of what was being done to African Americans, and now today in hip-hop, dancing is used as a tool to distract us from what is going on not only here in America, but also in black communities across America. Hip-hop today makes us uniformly ignore the globalist agenda. After killing hip-hop, Childish Gambino goes on to say that this is America, meaning that this is what we have done or allowed to happen here in America. That's why it's so symbolic that he begins dancing and rapping like a new age rapper of today. These current artists like Young Thug, Migos, Kodak Black, and more have America under mind control while chaos erupts in America. We just keep on dancing and singing. That's why most people who see this video have to watch it multiple times, because it's difficult to notice all the things taking place in the background of the music video because we're distracted by all the dancing. In another scene of the video, we see Childish Gambino assassinate a church choir. This scene on the surface level seems to be depicting the church shooting that took place in South Carolina by a white kid named Dylan Roof. When I view this scene, I see something totally different though. Again, most of the symbolism found in this video have double meanings. To me, when I see a scene like this, it represents the killing of the church, the end of grace, and the beginning of the end. Over the years, hip-hop has become more and more satanic every day, but it's not just hip-hop. America in general has fallen away from God. In the Holy Bible, Matthew 24 describes exactly what I feel is going on today. Matthew 24 describes what signs we need to look for so we know when the return of the true Messiah, Jesus Christ, or Yeshua, will be, and when the end of the world is upon us. As Jesus was sitting on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately. "Tell us," they said, "when will this happen, and what will be the sign of your coming and the end of the age?" Jesus answered, "Watch out that no one deceives you, for many will come in my name, claiming I am the Messiah, and will deceive many. You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nations will rise against nations, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of birth pains. Then you will be handed over to be persecuted and put to death, and you will be hated by all nations because of me. At that time, many will turn away from the faith and will betray and hate each other. and many false prophets will appear and deceive many people. Because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold, but the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. How can you read this and not see that the days Jesus spoke of are here now? When Childish Gambino killed the church choir, he was showing the killing of his own faith. Notice how when he walks into the room, he's happy, he dances in seriously, enjoying the church choir. Then he goes to being silly, to looking very bored before killing the church or godliness in his music. This scene represents how people went from loving the gospel to not taking it too seriously, really just being silly in faith or lukewarm, to just turning away from faith, period. Putting your beliefs, faith, and spirituality behind you and never looking back. Notice how we didn't see the bodies of the people in the choir get cleaned up like the man in the chair. I believe this was done on purpose to emphasize that faith can be killed and no one cares. Hip hop, the music itself, is more important to the people than the Most High. Now, I briefly want to talk about the part of the song where Childish Gambino says, "This is a celly, that's a tool." On the surface, people interpret it as him saying, we now live in a time where we can use our phones to capture things like police brutality, and in hindsight he is. But this part also has a double meaning. I also believe this scene is bringing awareness, or should bring awareness, to people that we aren't using our devices as a resourceful tool, but for more like foolishness. That is why the kids in this scene seem to be zoned out into their phones and are practically ignoring all the chaos going on around them. They're probably on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram. This part, in my opinion, is also biblical. And 2 Timothy reflects what the whole music video is about and what America is about today. 2 Timothy says, people will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, without love, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not lovers of the good, treacherous, rash, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power. Have nothing to do with such people. They are the kind who worm their way into homes and gain control over gullible women, who are loaded down with sins and are swayed by all kinds of evil desires, always learning but never able to come to a knowledge of the truth.
The book of Revelation in the Bible contains many intriguing visions. One of them is in chapter 6. There the Apostle John is shown 4 mounted horses that gallop into view. The first horse is white, the second is red, the third is black, and the fourth is pale. What do these 4 horses represent? I believe the answer lies in what Jesus Christ told his disciples about the end time. In order to see clearly what the first horse, the white one, represents, we will start with the last horse and work back to the first. Concerning the 4th horse, the Apostle John wrote, I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and the name of him who sat on it was Death, and Hades followed with him. And power was given to them over 1/4 of the earth, to kill with sword, with hunger, with death, and by the beasts of the earth. When the text says people will be killed with death, the Greek word translated death appears to refer to deadly diseases, in other words, pestilences. In Matthew 24, Jesus spoke of the end time and said, there will be pestilences. Here Jesus highlighted one of the causes of people being killed by the emergence of the 4th horse. Let's take a look at the 3rd horse. John wrote, I looked, and behold, a black horse, and he who sat on it had a pair of scales in his hand. A pair of scales indicates scarcity of food. An illustration of this can be seen in the book of Leviticus, where the Lord pronounced, "When I have cut off your supply of bread, they shall bring back your bread by weight, and you shall eat and not be satisfied." The next verse in Revelation 6 says, "And I heard a voice saying, a quart of wheat for a denarius." A quart of wheat equals a daily ration for one person. And at the time of the Apostle John, a denarius was 1 day's wage for an average worker. The voice John heard was saying that a day's ration of basic food will cost the equivalent of an average worker's entire daily wage. Such hyperinflation follows a dreadful famine. Just before mentioning pestilences, Jesus said, "There will be famines." This shows that what Jesus pointed to here matches the third horse. Let's now look at the second horse. John recorded, "Another horse, fiery red, went out, and it was granted to the one who sat on it to take peace from the earth, and that people should kill one another, and there was given to him a great sword." The imagery of a sword indicates war. This is illustrated in the book of Isaiah, where it says, "Your men shall fall by the sword, and your mighty in the war." War will therefore take peace from the earth. Just before Jesus mentioned famines, he said, "You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, for nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom." We see here that what Jesus says lines up with the second horse. There remains the first horse. John wrote, "I looked, and behold, a white horse. He who sat on it had a bow, and a crown was given to him, and he went out conquering and to conquer." In the time of John, a Roman general would ride on a white horse when returning with victory. A white horse is therefore a symbol of conquest. The white color need not portray anything good and pure. The horseman's crown that was given to him is a symbol of authority, and the bow the rider on the white horse has in his hand is a symbol of might. An example of this can be seen in the book of Hosea, where the Lord says, "I will break the bow of Israel," meaning the might of Israel. The horseman holding the bow has presumably arrows with him too. The book of Jeremiah speaks of armies that hold the bow. Obviously, having a bow implies having arrows too. In the New Testament, believers are commanded to take the shield of faith, with which they will be able to quench all the fiery darts of Satan. These darts are shot from his bow. Thus the bow in the hand of the horseman can be seen as a symbol of Satan's might.
So as we can see, the rider of this white horse seems to be the Antichrist, and the Antichrist is coming in the last days to deceive everybody. This is how we know Childish Gambino is showing us the last days throughout this whole video. He's laying it all out for us in front of our own eyes, and we have to open our eyes and see this. Okay, because this is exactly what's going on right now in America, and God will bring judgment to America. Understand that. And as in the days of Noah, or as in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah, we see that we will be still dancing, still having fun, still partying, still drinking, still sinning in so many different ways, and ignoring the fact that the end is here. It is upon us. Okay? We have to wake up and start realizing and watching for the signs as the Lord commanded us to do, because the end is here. And this is what Childish Gambino is telling you. And now, real quick, before I end this video, I just want to point out one more thing. This scene at the very end where you see Childish Gambino running away from people, that symbolizes him running away from America. That symbolizes him getting out of America. And he's telling us that's what we should do. We should do that ASAP. We should get out of America. Now, is getting out of America gonna help? No, because you, no matter where you are in the world, can escape God's wrath, okay? But that's what all these rich people are doing now. You can go look it up. The elite are packing up and shipping out, and they're moving all their stuff and their families and their homes and their money all to New Zealand, okay? So we need to understand that this symbolic message of what Gambino is telling us is that God will bring judgment on America first. We know America is going down, and he's trying to warn us now to get out before it's too late. All right? Now, that's all I have for you guys today. Did you notice anything that I didn't notice in this video? There's so many different meanings and symbols put inside of this video. I mean, we're talking about everything from gun laws to even weed and so much more. But what did you guys notice? Let me know. Sound off in the comment section. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Also hit that bell so you get notifications, so you know whenever I upload my new videos. And I love you, family. I'll holla at you later. Peace. Thank you for watching Up TV. If you like this video and would love to see more, check out these great videos here. And don't forget to subscribe to Up TV and Up TV 2 for even more great videos.